Hello everyone and welcome back guys to the start of a brand new series where today we're here for the TORA MX5 Spec League. Yes, this is probably going to be quite a bit of fun in some low powered, sort of low weight, low spec racing cars here with the Online Racing Association. Back on Forza once again. Obviously haven't been doing much Forza, obviously we've been running in the LCR League, but apart from that we haven't been doing all too much in recent times. So hopefully this series we can get back into a little bit more Forza. But yeah, this is just a 5-week series taking us across Europe and North America in, some very, very fun little race cars. It weighs about it weighs about 1,000 kilos even, I should say, and it's got about 230 horsepower, so not the most powerful car in the world, but certainly, yeah, it's going to create some good racing here on Forza 7, and we're here for week 1 at Silverstone National Circuit. We qualified P7 in A lobby, not a particularly good qualifying session from myself. We definitely have the pace to be a little bit higher at the end of the day. But we're getting ready then on the grid. We've got SVR Bradders just alongside us, Hurricane and Mead just in front. Hopefully we can try and get a good getaway here today. But yeah, it's going to be lights out and away we go then for the start of the new series here. Down in towards turn 1. We are just about ahead of Bradders there, so we're going to be able to slot in nice and tidy there as we head through the first corner. Just running into the back of Kieran ever so slightly. You can see already 2 and 3 wide just up the road there. Mead has got a fantastic run through the first couple of corners there as we head down in towards turn 2 and turn 3 for the first time in this race. A little bit of contact just up in front of us, Rubbin is racing in these sorts of cars there. But yeah, they are just so momentum based at the end of the day. If you don't get a good start, you're in for a very, very tough time in these races as we head down towards the end of the straight for the first time in this race. Just making a little bit of contact there. We get a big punt from behind coming in from LMP Chicago as we head down in towards the final corner of the opening lap. We have got Forza race regulations on, however, it's just for collisions, not track limits here, so it's going to be interesting to see if anyone picks up any penalties through that. But as we head out of the final couple of corners then of lap 1, we've held on to our qualifying position of P7 there, so it's not been a particularly bad start, but we haven't made any progress just yet either as we head back down in towards turn 1 there. SQD Monster and Solar going side by side. We've got LMP Chicago, that's a very, very good run through the first couple of corners there. We're going to try and squeeze him to the outside. We'll give him the inside at 4 turn 3 there, and he's going to have a look up the inside of not only myself, but Kieran and Solar up in front of us there. Solar gets completely sent to what can only be described as the Shadow Realm, and after all of that, both myself and Chicago are still side by side, but both up 2 places after all that kicking off. So, I mean, we've done alright. Now we're starting to make a little bit of progress in this racer as we head down towards the end of the Wellington Straight once again. You can see trying to hang it around the outside of Chicago here. Can we keep the nose up the inside through the next corner here? We're just going to make a little bit of contact between the pair of us once again. We're going to squeeze them out a little bit wide, try and get on the power as early as possible. They get the car rotated through on the exit, and yeah, we're now up into P5 of the race. They're just in front now of Chicago as we head down towards turn 1 there. So a good little start, making a little bit of progress here, but like I said, it's such a momentum-based car. You've really just got to try and wait for people to make mistakes around you, especially around a track like that, around this, where it's, only, what, sort of 6 corners at the end of the day. Yeah, going to be very, very difficult to, gain all the time on people, especially when there's very little tuning you can do on these cars as well. This was sort of what got me interested in running in this series. But over the next couple of laps, though, we would be slowly but surely just closing the gap down marginally to SQD Monster here. You can see we had RT93 Perlo just up in front with Mead and Drifting leading at the top of the field here. But down in towards turn 2 there, you can see Monster just going to run a little bit deep there, get a little bit loose on the grass on the exit, so we're going to be able to have a look up the inside as we head down the back straightaway here. We're going to have the outside for the next corner here, but I think we might just be able to get the run to slot in just about in front of him here. It's looking very, very close. He does try to keep the nose up the inside, but pretty much even on the brakes there. We run just a little bit wide through the corner, so we're going to be side by side as we head down in towards the final proper corner of the lap there. Get all kinds of loose, just dipping a wheel on the grass on the inside there. Monster trying to get the power down on the exit. It's pretty much a drag race out of the final corner there. We're just able to stretch the gears, though, a little bit further as we head back down over the start-finish line to pretty much make it to the halfway stage of this race there. Monster on the outside through turn 1 is not a place you really want to be there. We're able to slot back just in front of him there. We just about get the car slanted in front of him as we head through turn 1 there. So we have now moved ourselves up into P4 of this race here, and still making a little bit of progress at the moment, but really at this point we just needed to hope that the top three would start battling with each other and hope that Monster and I could work together to really try to close down this gap in the latter stages of this race. But over the next couple of laps, the Monster and I would just be trading little mistakes here that would allow us to go for moves. You can see Monster as we head down in towards turn 2 there. We're just going to run a little bit deep over the curbs just to get the car slowed down, but really ruin our run as we head out onto the back straightaway here. Try and get the shortest run down the straight. Obviously, in this car, you really just want to be trying to save yourself as best as possible here. But Monster, he has got a much better run as we head down the straight. He's going to be able to have a look up the inside as we head in towards the next couple of corners there. It's going to run very deep, though, on the brakes. We're going to try and get a switchback move on him as we head through the corner there. Just running ourselves, though, a little bit deep through the next corner here. So can we try and get a monster switchback out of the final proper corner there? Not quite worked out this time around. However, we do seem to have a little bit extra down the straight here. Not too sure how it really works. I'm guessing he's just shifting up ever so slightly earlier than ourselves as we head back down in towards turn 1 there. You can see Monster just a little bit slow on the entry there, but he does give himself quite a good run through the corner there. But can we try and get anything back on him out of the next couple of corners here, down in towards turn 2 and turn 3 once again there? And it looks like he's just going to make a little bit of a mistake there, get a little bit too deep on the brakes there. He's going to run himself very deep through the corner there once again, get himself out onto the grass. It's deja vu at the moment, and yeah, we slot ourselves back up now into P4 of the race here with 6 laps to go at the moment. It looks like Mead and Drifting, you know, they are on the same team, so I doubt they're going to try and battle all too much in this race here. But yeah, at the moment, we're just trying to keep our nose clean and hold on to this position here as we head now on to the final lap of the race. Like I said, you can see the gap had come down ever so slightly to the guys at the front of the field here, but yeah, it was just too little too late at the end of the day, and they could sort of drag each other along as, yeah, we really started to struggle towards the end. You know, in a bit of no man's land, it was probably ideal. It allowed us to try and get a couple of clean laps under our belt as well. But out of the final couple of corners, though, it is going to be P4 at the end of the first race there. It's a reverse grid top 8, so we're going to be starting P5 for the second race of the night there. But yeah, good first race result. Happy with that. Didn't quite get a particularly good fastest lap in, though. You can see, realistically, you can be setting 102s even, if you get the lap hooked up there. But yeah, you can see Drifting comes through for the win ahead of Mead, Perlo in P3, ahead of myself, Solar, Monster, Hurricane, and Bradders rounding out the top 8 there, with Chicago, Yem, FTP there in P9. But getting ready, though, for the start of the second race here. You can see we're starting up in P5. We've got the inside line this time round on the run down towards turn 1 there, and it's going to be lights out and away we go once again here there. Hopefully we can try and get a good start on the inside just behind Monster. You can see trying getting a little bit loose actually through turn 1 there. That's going to allow Perlo a bit of a run on the exit of the first corner there as we head now down in towards turn 2 and turn 3. We're going to try and keep the nose up the inside there. He brakes actually quite early through turn 2. We're going to ride the curbs quite a lot there. We might have been able to take a little bit of liberties with that one, but Perlo just runs out into the cones on the exit of the corner there, so it's going to allow Mead actually to try and get a run around the outside as we head down at the back straight once again. You can see those proximity arrows absolutely everywhere. We're going to have to try and get ourselves to the inside there, just about slot in front of Perlo there as we head through the next couple of corners. And yeah, we're now up, holding on into P5 of the race there, and hopefully now, as we head out of the final proper corner, we can try and make a bit of a breakaway from these guys, really focus on, you know, letting these guys battle just behind us here, and that's exactly what we did on the end of lap 1. You can see as we head now on to lap 5, we had a little bit of breathing room just behind us as we were trying to apply the pressure once again to SQD Monster. And once again, as we head down in towards turn 1, trying to have a bit of a look up the inside, perhaps maybe this time around we can try and get past him quite quickly there. Squeezed him out a little bit wide through turn 1, but he does get a better run nonetheless. As you can see, Mead now just waiting in the wings, once again ready to try and pounce on an opportunity if it does open up there, side by side through turn 2 and turn 3. SQD Monster and I had so many good battles over the course of the evening. It's a shame that I can't include them all. Just obviously the video would be about half an hour long at the end of the day there. But yeah, down the back straightaway, you can see once again there's just a drag race between the pairs there, stretching out the gears a little bit longer, dipping a wheel actually onto the grass. Mead, though, is going to try and go for the heroics up the inside. They're all going to get pinched together. He said, in fact, actually what he was trying to do is he went for it whilst he was coughing, so made a bit of a mistake as we head through the final couple of corners there. But luckily didn't really cost any of us all too much time there. Monster gets a little bit loose out of the final corner there, so we're going to try and look up the inside. And yeah, hopefully this time around, the inside was slightly better down the straights anyway. We're going to be able to slot ourselves now up into P4 of the race once again here. So we're currently sat back up in P4 at the moment. If we could get 2 P4s in these races, you know, consistency is going to be key in this series. I would probably quite happily take that at the end of the day there. But, you know, any more progress we can make, you know, points are so critical in the early stages of these championships. Is now on to lap 12, but all over the back of SVR Bradders here. Obviously started with the reverse grid pole as we head down in towards turn 1, riding over the curbs as best as possible. It had taken us pretty much all night before we managed to relearn the line through turn 1. You've got to brake a little bit early in most places in this car, just try and get it rolling through. Obviously, it's such an exit-based car, you know, you've got to try and get the power down as early as possible there, as Bradders just runs a little bit wide as we head on to the Wellington Straight once again here. It's going to be a drag race once more in these cars. You never get a particularly simple move unless someone has made an absolutely monstrous mistake there. And yeah, at the moment, side by side with Bradders, can we try and hook it up around the outside as we head down towards the end of the Wellington Straight? We're going to squeeze him out over the curbs as blessed as possible there. Try to keep the nose in through the hairpin there. He tried to go for the switchback move. We're going to park it on the inside there. Don't allow him to get the cut back on us. And yeah, we're now up into P3, onto the podium places here in the second race of the night. We've got Huracan and Solar just up the road here, and I felt like, you know, unless they really started battling, there wasn't going to be much we could do in this race. And yeah, once again, as we head on to the final lap, Solar, he would push Huracan very much in these final couple of laps there, and we had closed down the gap ever so slightly. I felt like we were pretty much even on pace with Solar, and Huracan, you know, we were both just taking a little bit of time out of, but obviously starting a bit further down the field, we couldn't really capitalise it as best as possible there. And out of the final corner, down towards the start-finish line there, it is going to be P3 at the end of the second race there. So good consistency in the opening night of this series. There are P4 and a P3 behind Huracan Solar there, just ahead of Bradders, Mead, Monster, Chicago, and drifting at the end of the second race of the night there. And yeah, that meant the points, it was looking very tight after the opening round of the series. It would actually be Huracan who was leading the way on 384 points there. Solar, and I think it was Mead on 383, and then myself and Drifting on 382 there. So we're 2 points off the top, and we're in P5 at the end of the first week of this series. But yeah, that'll do us for this video, though, guys. Do get yourself subscribed if you're new around here, and you do want to see more Forza 7 content from the MX5 Spec Cup. And yeah, we will be back next time out at Lime Rock Park.